Hello everyone, this is Jack from Saga Machinery, and today we are going to little bit introduce our T90 heavy-duty spindle motors. And this machine we fitting with power feeders. And you can see we got easy plug-in cables to run the feeder easy. We just use these cables to connect here. And the machine and the feeder share one electric source. For this feeder, we have two directions to use. One is feeding of the vertical. We lower it to set to the certain parameters we need. This is for the vertical feeding, and when we turn it this way, it can do the horizontal feedings. Okay, this feeder is a 4-wheel 8-speed, and let us see. One, two, three, four wheels. And from here, we can turn to different grids. And you can see there are two different speeds. One is turtle, one is rabbit. It's very easy to understand. The turtle is lower speed, and the rabbit is higher speeds, and it can both run clockwise and anti-clockwise. So here we got two speeds. Okay, let us see how to use it horizontally. And we lose this, then we take it to here, and then we turn it. Okay, then the wheels is near to the cutters. Okay, we roughly lock it. And then we take it this way. Then we use these wheels to make it more near to the fence. Okay, we just explained that from here we can get two different speeds. And the running direction is one is clockwise, another one is anti-clockwise. Okay, let us explain how it can achieve 8 speeds. Remember here we have two different speeds. Now we open it. Okay, you can see here we have two gears, and if we change this big one to the top and the smaller one to the bottom, then it can increase the speed. So there's another two speed change. And here you can see inside the covers we also got another two sets of gears. These two gears, if we connect the smaller one here, the bigger one here, then we can achieve the lowest speed. But if we use this big one on top and the smallest one on the bottom, then we can achieve the highest speed. So this two speed, and the electrical two speed, then we get 8 different feeding speed. For maintaining of this power feeders, we have to regularly spread oil. So you can, there's a mouse for the oil spreading on each sections, and we also spread some oils on the chains to make sure it's well lubricated. Okay, let us see how to do the horizontal feedings of the material. Okay, firstly we have to make sure here are 2 wheels and here also 2 wheels. We make this center on the center of the cutters to make sure that on the initial and on the finish both have 2 rollers for the feeding and outlet. Okay, firstly we turn it here, adjust a little bit near to the fence. Then the center is same with the center of the cutters. Lower it down. We lower it down until the roller is about 2 or 3 millimeters lower than the material. We use this axis to make sure that on the finished part it's a little bit near to the fence than the start parts, so that we make sure that the material is running against to the fence. Okay, we start the feeders to try for feeding. This is a low speed, then we change to a higher speed. You can see now the speed is much higher than before. Okay, before we setting for the machine or running for the machine, and after the electrical connections, we have to test it to run and see what is the running directions of the cutters. You can see when we're feeding the materials, the cutters should run against the feeding the materials. So it should be run anti-clockwise. We're feeding from here and the cutter running against, so it runs this way, anti-clockwise. Okay, let us try. We started and immediately stop it. Okay, emergency. Okay, it ran anti-clockwise, so this is the right direction. If it ran the opposite way, we have to change the electrical wires, the leading wires, any two to change it. Okay, you can see this section is for the cutter covers and also for the dust collections. And we have these safe covers. You can adjust it to make it safe working, and also for the fence, we can move it according to the diameters of the tools. For big scale forward or back, we can use we can lose these screws to make a rough adjustment. Okay, then we lock it. And for macro adjust, we can use these knobs forward or come back. So this is very useful when we want to get a very precise molding. This is a universal street cutters, and let us see how to set these tools. If you want to plan some amount, for example 2 millimeters, then we have to make this fence 2 millimeter back of the cutter tips, so that after it passing the cutters, it will get 2 millimeter molding work. These two fence and the cutters make it two separate elements. Before the material come to the cutter, we use this side fence, and after the material molding for certain sections, for example, half past the cutters, we will mostly use this side. So the alignments for these materials before feeding and after nearly finish, we use different alignments. Okay, for example, we want to plan this wood 2 millimeters. Okay, let us see when you touch the highest point of the cutter tips, then we can see these gaps between the material. Okay, then it's 2 millimeters. So this side fence we finish setting, and this side is very easy to set. We just make a same height of the cutter tips and the ripping fence. Okay, we run the cutter blocks to make sure that the cutter tips can a little bit move the materials. Okay, you can see like this. Then this cutter tips is same height with the finish fence. Okay, we got these different cutters. This is for door panel, and this is for door rail and styles. We change these universal cutters to door style cutters. Firstly, we lose the screw to make this gap bigger for us, easy to work. And then we lose this screw. Okay. Also this one. We put it back. Before we change the tools, we have to lock the spindle so that it's not rotate. So we use this handles here to lift this handle, and then you can see it is locked. Lose this screw. To take it gently. And you can see these cutters is a little bit bigger than the rings, so we had to take off the one rings so that we can make sure that if we lower the cutters, it can run freely. Okay, we take off one ring and use this big one. Okay, before we install any cutters, we have to make sure that there's no dust inside the bowl. And if these cutters store it for a long time, if there's some rust inside, we have to clean it with oil. So each time before we install the cutters, please check whether there's dust, because this spindle and the cutter ball is very precise. And also clean the spindle. When we install these cutters, you have to see the running directions of the cutters, because this spindle is running this way, so this cutter we need to install this way. So when it is running, it gives molding work against the material. So when we install these cutters, we have to make sure that the cutter surface is parallel and exactly 90 degrees with the spindle. So not use a hard push or use any tools to push it in. It will broken the spindle. We have to slightly try it and to make sure that it's very precisely parallel with the tables. Slightly try it. This one. Then we tighten the screw. We finish the tooth change. And after we finish install the tooth, every time we have to check it. If we forget to unlock the spindles before running, then we unlock. Okay, then it can run smoothly, freely. This wheel is used to raise or lower the spindle. If we turn it right, the spindle you can see is raising, and if we turn it left, the spindle will go down. After this height adjustment finish, we have to lock it to make sure that the spindle can't move up and down again. This is the dough style cutters, and let us see how to set these tools. The roughly principle is to make the highest point and the lowest point of the cutters exactly on the center of the wood. Okay, let us see how to set it. To make a parallel shape. Okay, when we do the shaping molding works, it is better not to use the aluminum fence, so we take it off and we change to a wooden fence. We finish setting the height of the tools, and then before we do this molding work, it is better not to use the aluminum fence. It's both for the safety and if you use the moulder feeding, we suggest you to use a wooden fence. Okay, we install it. Finish install this wooden fence. So when we do a feeding, only the cutters come out. It is much safe for feeding, and also for the if we use this feeding rollers without this wooden mold, the wooden material may come inside, so it's not safe. To make absolutely safe, we use this wooden mold, and let us see how to make different cuttings by the cutter to get a groove to make sure that the cutters come out. And then we slightly move to the cutters to let the cutters cut out. We see the cutter come out, then only the cutter is outside, so all the parts is covered by this wooden materials. Then if we use the feeder for feeding, it will give us a very good alignment. Okay, after we setting these tools and got this fence, we try to use this feeder for feeding. Check all the parts. And to check the thickness of materials. Okay, we start the feeder and then double check. Okay. Okay, if we want to change speed, change to the higher speed or lower speed, we just pull this and make it the belt free, and then we can change it to upper or lower to change the speed of spindles. After change, we lock it.